Right, he's ready for us, Tommy Robinson. Let's have a chat with him. A rising star, really, Anthony, of the Labour Party, who's a key ally of Jeremy Corbyn, shared a tweet. Oh, no, he's talking about her, aren't you? Sorry. There's so many Labour people in the news today. I've got the wrong one. He's talking about Naz Shah. Here we go. A rising star of the Labour Party, who's a key ally of Jeremy Corbyn, shared a Twitter post telling sex abuse victims of the Rotherham scandal, I quote, to shut their mouths for the good of diversity. Naz Shah, who represents Bradford West, shared and liked the post by a parody account of newspaper columnist Owen Jones. It said, this is what the parody said, those abused girls in Rotherham and elsewhere just need to shut their mouths for the good of diversity. Now, she retweeted this and liked it days after Naz Shah, who's 43, penned an open letter attacking her fellow Labour MP Sarah Champion for writing an article which said Britain had a problem with Pakistani Muslim men targeting vulnerable white girls. Sarah Champion got the sack, or had to resign. I think she got the sack. And Corbyn, it's just disgraceful. He's put the Muslim bloc vote in front of the rape of young white girls. Just disgraceful. But Naz Shah thought this was Owen Jones and therefore retweeted it and liked it. She's since withdrawn it. I've said I've got a bit of sympathy for you because you can retweet sometimes and not have your head on. I accept that. But I'm sorry, if you were the Muslim MP who had already got somebody the sack about Rotherham and about abuse, wouldn't you be more careful? She's not fit for public office, is she? Let's talk to the reporter for Rebel Media, Tommy Robinson. Good afternoon, Tommy.
Good afternoon, John.
She shot herself in the foot with this one, hasn't she?
She's trying to say it was a mistake, isn't she? I'm just gobsmacked. I'm gobsmacked at the different levels of what is allowed and what isn't allowed. Sarah Champion has to resign because she made a comment that Pakistan... She made a factual comment that we have a problem with Pakistani men raping young white girls. But that's a fact. She has to resign. This woman, who went against her, because she's a Muslim, she can then write and retweet. Now, that's 3 different buttons you have to press by mistake. That's 3 different buttons. It's not like just one that's been done by mistake.
That's true.
It's 3 different buttons she has to press by mistake. So it's not a mistake. She shared it. She's liked it because this is how they feel. And what I find so many times is what many of these Muslim... I was corrected I was on the TV show with Nikki Campbell, and when I was talking about these young girls, I was correct. There's a Muslim woman on the show, and she corrected me on the panel, and she said young women. And it's only when I watched it back that I really watched it, and I thought, well, she corrected me on young girls, because we say young children, you're raping children. They don't view them. So Naz Shah's view will be that these were young women, not young girls, and that they were, as many Muslims who you speak to, it's their fault. They blame the girls. They were out, they were drinking, they were slags. That's how they view it. Now, Naz Shah sharing that, how is there no massive call or cry for her to lose her job? How is there nothing happening? Jeremy Corbyn, everyone's silent. And it's just the two levels. If an MP, if a non-Muslim MP or a white MP said anything that was in any way, if you look at Kate Hopkins having to lose her job for making the comment final solution, which was clearly a mistake, but she had to lose her job. She was fired. In all these instances throughout the years, if anyone says anything, they lose their job, they're fired. Now, because she's a Muslim, she won't be. She will not be. And this is the same. She had already been suspended from the Labour Party for anti-Semitic comments.
She had been, correct.
Yeah. And she's back. So she comes back after anti-Semitic comments, and now she makes a comment like this. Do you know there's another 6 Muslims who started trials today in the same city as the last one, Newcastle? There's another 6 Muslims who started trials today. 5 young girls that they've brought forward out of dozens, but there's 5 that they've picked to bring the cases on. Some of them aged 11, 12, 13, 14. And again, they should just shut up in the Muslim MP's view. And the problem is, I perceive that view supported by many of the Muslims who voted Owen.
Okay, so do you feel then, and you obviously think it's double standards, it's kind of linked to what's happening in America with the alt-left and the alt-right, and there's this statue row as well, isn't it? That increasingly you can say something if you're left-wing, but you don't seem to be able to say anything if you're right-wing. I'm not talking about the fascists, the KKK and people. I'm talking about, if you dare to say you're right-wing, you've got every chance of being shut down on Twitter or indeed on Facebook. I mean, you face this yourself, haven't you?
Yeah. They've made the word right-wing dirty. They've successfully done that. The left, they've been quite successful in that. So you have children now, even children who I speak to recently, some young kid who was a conservative, and he said that if he told his class at school that he was conservative, then he'd get so much abuse and hassle. That's what's happened. And in America, when the whole statue now, I don't understand this, because they want to rip down statues of people. This is the problem. Winston Churchill, Sir William Gladstone, statues of them across our capital city. Both of them made comments about Islam. Winston Churchill said Islam in a man is like rabies in a dog. Sir William Gladstone said there will never be peace on this earth so long as we have the Quran. It's a violent, cursed book. Now, the problem where we're at, in 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, there'll be calls for them to be pulled down. And what they're doing now in America, they're not just calling for them to be pulled down, they're turning up at night and smashing them down themselves.
And what do you make of the story? Have you heard the story today about the American football commentator? He's a Oriental guy called Robert Lee. He's been told he's not allowed to commentate on this college game today because his name, Robert Lee, might trigger people who are upset about General Robert Lee. What do you make of that? I'm not making this up. This is a true story. Don't you start laughing at me, Robinson. This is a true story. The snowflakes are upset. What do you make of that? It's
the world gets insaner by the day. I haven't read or heard that. That's what I make of it. Comical.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well,
should we rip the pyramids down? They were built by slaves, weren't they?
That's correct. Smash them down? Whilst you're laughing, there's also another suggestion by Jeremy Corbyn and a fellow in the Labour Party, that the way to stop women getting assaulted on trains is to give them segregated carriages. What do you make of that one, Tom?
That is Sharia. That's using excuses in order to implement Sharia. That's all that is. Do you know in certain universities, in the Westminster University, you have a women's list and a man's list. That's the men's list, that's the women's list, for these same reasons. For the Muslims are pushed for that. Now, this is the Labour Party being pushed by their electorate, which is coming from the Muslim community in London. We want Muslim carriages, non-Muslim carriages. Just the same way we have women's swimming sessions, men's swimming sessions. All of these changes all come back to Sharia. That's all that is. That's all Jeremy Corbyn's introducing there is Sharia on our transport system. That's it. Men and women carriages.
Thank you very much. That's Tommy Robinson.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.